Welcome to Bigger, Better, Stronger, Faster. I believe we're on episode 7. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. So today we're bringing you someone from out of town. She used to live around here, and she did some amazing things in the disc golf world. We wanted to bring her back and talk to her and see how she's been doing for the last, I believe it's been at least 2 or 3 years, but we'll find out. Abby Sullivan.
Well, hello. And it's been 4 years.
Oh, wow. My goodness. Really?
Yeah, that's a long time. I know. I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah, I moved in 2018.
Man, it doesn't seem that long, but
no, it really doesn't.
Yeah, that was quick. That went way too fast. Yeah, well, one of the biggest reasons I wanted to bring you on here, Abby, is obviously we miss you a ton. Yeah, and not to be, I don't know if this is shallow to say this, but one of the biggest reasons I miss you is because you used to help me run my tournaments. And we had so much fun running those tournaments. We always, had dinner or whatever after we were done to, talk about how it went. And, we often played rounds before talking about how it was going to go. Those were good times, and I appreciate all those times. Sure.
I miss that. I love getting involved in tournaments, and I would have jumped at the chance to do any of them. Same way whenever we first moved to Texas, I was still really involved in disc golf, and I think it was week 2 I was living in Texas. I went to my first league there and started getting involved in tournaments, and I was just so happy I could pick it back up because I was heartbroken to leave the disc golf community in West Virginia that I had.
I could tell. We were broken to have you go, but I knew that you would spread disc golf somewhere else, and continue with that really cool energy that you've always had. So,
it's great seeing disc golf across like the South, I guess I should say, because in Texas, and now I live in Oklahoma, of course, it is so much different than West Virginia disc golf. I've had to change probably every single disc in my bag.
Oh my goodness, really?
Weight, stability, everything. I remember the first time I went and played on a course in Texas, it was at Guthrie Park in Longview. And it's an open course, just has a nice creek that flows through it. Didn't seem like it was going to be super complicated, but all my lightweight discs just soared away from me. And then pretty much any other disc just went straight into the ground. So I had to upgrade by almost like 8 grams to the weight of all my discs.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, there's plenty of hills to block the wind around here. So
it was a curveball for sure. My rating dropped probably 30 points.
Oh, wow. So does the wind swirl like it does here? You know how like you get the different hills and topography that make the wind kind of swirl? Does it do that very much there?
It's a lot more like in Texas, there's a lot of crosswinds. So it's when you're playing throughout the course, you go between tailwind and I don't know. It was the hardest thing for me to learn about disc golf in Texas was the wind there, because it is definitely not the same.
Interesting.
It's not even that it's more aggressive. Here in Oklahoma, the wind is aggressive. There have been times where I went outside and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to play disc golf today. And I've seen other people playing disc golf in like Tulsa, and I'm like, wow, like I don't think that could be very fun. I mean, we get 40-mile-an-hour wind here.
Wow. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I think probably the worst I've seen here, like in playing in it, was maybe 25. That's not that difficult usually.
I played in a tournament. The last tournament I played in actually was in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. And it was a 3-round tournament, and it had 3 different courses it involved. And the third course that they played the last day was like the unveiling of a new course. And it rained, and that was a windy day, and it was a new course. And I hadn't lost a disc in like 5 years. I lost 6 discs that day.
That's rough. I've done
Yeah, it was very heartbreaking.
Matter of fact, I did that at Cedar Lakes one time. It was a rough day.
I
Yeah.
basically learned to play disc golf on that course. I don't want to think about how many discs I've lost on that disc golf course.
Right.
All of them.
Yeah. 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 I was telling a story the other day to someone. The first year I got serious was the second year I'd ever played. And a friend of mine had this big bag. There was at least 15 to 20 discs in this bag. They were all really old discs though.
Mm-hmm.
And he just gave it to me. It was like, here, have fun with it, And I was like, oh my goodness, I lost every one of those discs in like 2 months. when they,
Isn't that the
all beat
worst
up,
too?
they
You're like,
all
this was a
still right.
gift.
Yeah, yeah. Every one of them was like, I would let go of it in the right place, and it would go like so far right, I would never see it again, and often into swamps and sticker bushes that you can't, that are hundreds of feet wide or whatever. It was
Naturally.
rough, yeah. But yeah, I think at some point, that might get cleared out, and someone's going to find a lot of disc in those areas of the course. There's really there was 3 holes on the first course I ever played was called NAD Park or NAD Park as they called it. It's heavily wooded. There's a lot of swampy areas that if on, I think it's hole 3, if you go to the right, it's just murder. You're not getting it, unless you have a boat maybe. But
right. Brave.
So I know on that hole, which you warm up on hole 1 and 2, I'd get to 3 and think I'm gonna crush this one. I'm getting it to the hole and just yank it right. Probably in that 2 months, I bet I yanked out of 10 throws, it was probably 7 throws right. It's like, no, not another disc. But
my toxic trick was that I thought I needed to have only JK Pro Valkyries. So I spent a lot of money on all of the discs that I initially lost.
Oh man. Yeah. That's rough.
I don't even throw Valkyries anymore. I can't imagine how much money I invested in them in the first probably 2 or 3 years that I played disc golf.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that it took a long time for me to get hooked on a disc, but I would say now I really do just throw, specific discs, and I just rotate, those same discs into the bag and beat them in, and it seems to work out better for me, I think.
I feel like I've always had a set bag, but it's changed. I'll always throw these discs for 3 years, and then all of a sudden I've got a completely different bag 5 or 6 years later. And that's pretty much how it is now. I used to throw things like Blizzard Dominators and Destroyers and V-Rocks and stuff like that. And now I throw EMAC Truths and Sheriffs and Colossus.
Okay.
Those are pretty much my main drivers now. Well, we'll see. After I've healed completely, we'll see if I'm able to throw those discs still. I'm going to start gentle, maybe throw a diamond for a few weeks.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah. So you were telling us before we got on the air kind of what the weather's been like there.
It's so interesting how different the weather is. I lived in Texas for 2 years, and then we moved to Oklahoma about a year and a half ago. So almost the 4 years collectively since we've moved. And we only live 5.5 hours from where we lived in Texas. But in Texas, it does not snow. We are 5 hours away, and we can get 8 inches of snow here, and then there's nothing 5 hours away. And it could be 70 degrees there, actually. So I'm on the phone with my work in the mornings talking about the weather, how it's 18 degrees. We had 3 inches of snow, and they're like, it's 65 and sunny.
Yeah. We've had something like that. Well, we had a whole lot of freezing, and then it warmed up, and that was when I got the disc golf rounds in the last couple of weeks, because we've had a couple nice weeks, and then we're right back to freezing rain this morning. And
yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, definitely been back and forth. And Jim over here has got a tournament coming up Sunday. Sorry.
The Dale Winters Memorial number 2.
Yeah.
Memorial.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful. Dale would love that.
He would. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so doing that this weekend, but had a bunch of flooding on the course. I haven't actually seen it. Jim would be more.
We're supposed to play a singles round at the Buckeye, but the water is up, so it's covering probably 3 baskets at this point are underwater, and the water's only coming up more. There were 7 baskets underwater 4 days ago. We thought that the water was just going to go down. Then it's decided to rain again and again and again. So
Wow.
We're just going to play Sasquatch twice. How exciting. Everybody.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
I went out and played it today. It's fine. It's a little wet and muddy, but looks good out there. Dale's going to have a bunch of people playing out there for sure.
That's good.
That is great. Do you guys have a best round on Sasquatch? Do we know what the score is for that?
Corey Ellis, professional disc golfer, shot 9 under on the Sasquatch. It's a 61 par.
That is crazy.
That is crazy. But I could see Corey being the one to do it for sure.
Yeah. He threw a buzz a lot through the woods, standing still. His standstill works so well standing on those hillsides like that. And
that's the way to do a technical course like that, though. If you can throw a mid-range straight, putter straight, something like that, that will save so many strokes in a course like that.
It has a lot of Anheuser right-hand Anheuser shots where you can't throw forehand because it's a short right turn. So a right-hand, backhand Anheuser shot usually fits the bill just right. And he threw that buzz amazing. So the first time he played it blind, he shot a -8.
Wow.
And then he came back after we redesigned the course. We made it harder. He came back and shot a 9. 9
Wow. Yeah. That's quite the thing to reach right there.
Sure. I needed to make it harder, I guess.
Right. Darn it. Didn't try hard enough. That is so funny.
So how many rounds do you average a week in the wintertime?
While we were in Texas, it was just like playing in the springtime or the summertime. Disc golf does not stop in the winter in Texas. It gets a little cooler, but league continues on. They'll start league a little bit early, and then they'll do like the last 5 or 6 holes in glow golf. And yeah, pretty much I would play disc golf whenever I was in Texas. I would play generally on Wednesdays and Thursdays because I had ladies' night and then regular league night.
Wow.
When I moved here, I started doing leagues on Sundays. And I was going to join ladies' league, but then I started my ankle surgery. I had a pretty bad fall last March that kind of disabled me for a few months, then surgery. And so I haven't played disc golf in a couple months.
Wow. Okay.
Going stir crazy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I know. That's why the fact that live disc golf just started yesterday. I mean, I've been looking forward to this for months because this is what I'm going to enjoy as content for now.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I find that if I take a break and watch a bunch of content, I swear I get better.
I tell people that all the time. If you want to get better, then you need to play with people who are better than you, or you need to absorb content of people who are better than you, like watching the professionals.
I agree.
However, my toxic trait is I'm watching the professionals and I'll see them mess up and I'm like, ugh, I can do better than that.
Yeah, all right.
Definitely not, but it's definitely my toxic trait. Yeah. Hey, it encourages me to want to play tournaments and stuff because I'm like,
there's a female player, and I'm not going to bust her out right now, but I couldn't tell you how many times I'm like, girl, if you don't get out there and start practicing putting, you're going to drive me crazy. It is not working for you. Like, your drives are amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about this other random female disc golfer. But like every time I watch her on live coverage, I'm like, or any coverage, I'm just like, if you don't start practicing that, like you would be killing it in this,
That's so funny.
You'd be first. I mean, because your drives are already getting you first, like 1 out of 10 tournaments. And but yeah, sorry, I can't bust her out, but that's how she definitely drives me crazy sometimes watching the putting, and I'm just like, oh, you fix that.
It's all right. I understand. I feel the same way whenever I'm generally watching players because I have my fan favorites, of course.
Oh.
I am following and watching, and I don't want to say obsessing over because after you meet a couple pros in person, you don't want to. I don't want to fangirl too much about some.
Right.
I remember whenever I first actually moved to Texas, I got to play a doubles round with Greg Barsby.
Awesome. I bet that
And
was
I remember watching him win Worlds. So whenever I first initially met him, I was like,
yeah.
hello. He's actually a really good guy. And his girlfriend, Casey, is great. And they do a lot of disc golf around actually where I lived. They'd ended up moving some years ago, like really close. And so they host like doubles rounds and league rounds and stuff like that, like weekly, monthly. And then they host a couple big tournaments too. So that's pretty exciting.
That is exciting. Yeah. Any other big pros around you?
Actually, the tournament, the one that I played most recently, Coda Hatfield is a local.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And he plays a lot of the tournaments, and his girlfriend actually is a professional. I got to play with her, and she's great. A lot better than I was when I played that tournament. But she was a good sport, encouraged me, so that's always good.
What division are you playing these days?
I go between advanced women and intermediate women. I can play intermediate based off my rating right now, but I've been playing disc golf for 10 years.
Yeah, I feel
So
you.
if there is an intermediate division, I'll generally play up to advanced. But if nobody is playing intermediate, then I'll like bump down to intermediate, and then maybe someone like bump up with me. It just depends on how many people are registered. It's still pretty scarce down here with women. So really, it's just based on who's playing. If I know the women that are playing in advanced, I'll play with them because like they'll beat me, but I know I'm good enough to play in that division. So
yeah. There were times when I played advanced, even when I think my rating was never advanced. Because that's like 935, so I was never there, not even close. But I'd often played in it. I think the same reason. I was like, I've been playing for enough years. I should be advanced.
Yeah, I don't want to be a sandbagger. If I have a really good day, then I'm really good at disc golf sometimes. So it's like I would just
have a day here and there. Yeah.
But most of the time, recently, especially when since I've been playing less and less, and actually getting used to the new area and the heavier wind speeds and stuff, I've not been playing great. My most recent tournament, I think maybe one of my rounds hit 800.
Yeah.
I think my other two were under.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it wasn't my best showing. But hey, I had a good time. I hadn't played a tournament in a couple months because I'd had the fall. I didn't know that was going to result in surgery, so I kept playing disc golf.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I quit playing glow golf for a while because I took a couple falls. I just, couldn't see the ground, and when I went to throw, like there wasn't ground there, on the plant foot, and
oh no,
I ate dirt real fast, and that one just kind of stopped me. That was the second time. The first time I fell, I rolled down a hill about like 3 rolls, and I just kind of rolled out of it. Didn't hurt that bad. The second time though, I face planted hard on like hard, pan of dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remembered that one for a few weeks.
I technically had 2 falls also, and that's what resulted in my injury. Was my first fall was at a tournament in 2019, Cedar Hill. I can't remember the name of the tournament specifically. It might be just like the Cedar Hill tournament, but it was a really, really large event. That's actually, I met Tina Stenides and Eric Oakley. So that was cool. They were selling whale sacks and everything there. I was in the lead by 6 strokes with 4 holes left on the 3rd day. And I was on a hillside and I was trying to like back up because somebody was going to go to putt, and I didn't realize that I'd walked ahead of them, and my foot was wrapped around a root. And when I went backwards, my foot stayed in place. So that was rough.
Yeah.
I actually broke my foot that day, but I didn't know that. So I finished the tournament with my broken foot and lost by 1.
Oh, wow.
I did. By the time I got to the last hole, I think I was just throwing rollers, like, just give me.
I bet. Yikes.
It was pretty bad. But after that injury, they said, nothing to be done about it. I broke like the top of my foot. So what do you do? And then I had another fall more recently in March at a wedding.
Oh.
Ooh.
I don't remember anything. I woke up with broken foot.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Oh no, it's fine. That's the consequences you get.
So true.
But no, I was actually continued on playing disc golf after I thought, enough time had passed for healing. Because technically it wasn't broken. It was tendon damage and ligament damage and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we didn't find that out until much later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually worse, actually.
It was. That's for sure. Definitely do not recommend. But no, it's healed up great. I had a great surgeon, and I'm actually like 3 weeks ahead of schedule in PT, physical therapy. So
good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I was pretty stubborn about not being able to walk around. Like, I'm not supposed to walk around but like 50% of my day, and I've been vacuuming like all day.
Wow.
It's better that you're up and moving. Trust your.
It is. Prevents blood clots. That was like my biggest fear through all of this is like, I'm an active person. There's no way I don't want to get a blood clot.
Right.
Up and moving.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. You do a lot of icing.
A lot of icing. That's honestly like almost 20 minutes of my physical therapy too.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Is icing.
Super important.
I like frozen spinach.
Yeah. Nice. I've never actually tried that.
It ices very well, yes.
Yeah, I usually use peas or corn, but more likely
Fiber meat.
they seem round, they're less sharp or whatever, but they end up turning into like a mush. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, I did make the mistake. If you leave a bag of spinach out, it will turn whatever is around it green.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Good to know. Yeah.
But no, I have been looking forward to playing disc golf because I'm pretty much, what do I want to say, going to be released complete physical therapy on April 22nd. But again, I'm 3 weeks ahead of schedule, so I think that they'll let me out sooner. And at that point, I'll be able to run and jump and whatever. So I think that I can start implementing some practice disc golf and start slow, honestly, like a beginner, because right at the end when I stopped playing disc golf, I had just gotten good at backhand.
Cool.
And you know me, that I've been throwing sidearm for like my whole disc golf career for like 7-8 years. And then just this last year or so, I started throwing a backhand consistently at like 250, 300 foot. And
Nice.
I need that back because that became really important.
I bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I was missing, having to try to incorporate like sidearm to make certain throws. I started throwing backhand and was like, what have I been doing the last 10 years?
Right. Yeah, well, when I first started, I kind of went back and forth, but my strongest throws usually were forehand, and the best aimed ones were forehand.
Consistent.
Then I did kind of lean on it for a while, but my shoulder didn't like that much for long, so I had to go to backhand. Yeah, but I also started finding like YouTube videos at that point because I think before I started throwing backhand, there weren't many. There might have been like 2 or 3 backhand instructional videos, and then it just started getting flooded with it, so it was helpful.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I've been just honestly trying to learn from other people. Like that's something that I've always done, and people have always influenced like what discs that I've bought, what weight that I buy, how I do my X step. The only thing that I think that I haven't developed from somebody was the way that I throw forehand. But again, I don't know what kind of thrower I'm going to be after all of this.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited to like start fresh and kind of get rid of bad habits maybe.
I bet. Yeah.
It's hard to keep that forehand when you go to backhand. Do you find that your forehand's not quite as consistent?
I found that once you learn backhand and you're a forehand thrower, it seems like a whole new realm of possibilities has opened up. And so you just throw backhand more often. Yeah. So it's like That's why I said it's like I realized that 80% of holes are set up for backhand, and there's just that one rare course every once in a while that's like, wah, forehand course, yes.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I definitely saw my forehand start to, decline because I was throwing backhand a lot more often.
Yeah, I think often when you find the forehand course, it's either someone who is forehanded designed it, or it's someone who can't forehand at all, so they're trying to force themselves to. I generally try to make as many holes as I can to work on my weaknesses when I'm building a course. But
then I need 100-foot tunnels.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I need some.
That's
of those.
What I would build.
Now, like it brought
the L shot.
Of shots where you don't really have anything in the way, but you have out of bounds on both sides. So it is like a tunnel. But no one ever thinks of it like a tunnel. They all try to throw all these crazy shots and end up out of bounds. And it's like, well, it was meant to be played like a tunnel with putters. Sure, it's 500 feet. 500 feet on a par 4, you just throw putter. 200 feet, 200 feet, 200 feet, par. You know what I mean? It's like
absolutely. There are a lot of courses in Tulsa here, but all of them are short. There is one course, one set of courses, I should say, because it's got White Hawk, Black Hawk, Red Hawk, all on the same property, and it has some like professional level holes and courses. Like Black Hawk has probably at least 5 or 6 holes over 800 feet.
Wow.
And they generally stay on the longs on that course. But everything else, every other course in Tulsa is just so small, like pitch and putt courses. Like they're really popular courses, don't get me wrong. The courses everybody goes to after 5 o'clock on, weekdays and things like that. But, if I can shoot like 9 down on the course, it is not that complicated.
Right. That's funny.
So there's no big courses out here, at least in my general area anymore.
Interesting. Yeah. What is it really flat or hilly there?
Just general impression of being here. It's very, very flat. The home course I have that's only like 10 minutes from here, Centennial Park, is very, very flat. But then like those two, like that pitch and putt course I was talking about, Bear and Moose, they're more of a hike, they're not exactly like, I wouldn't consider them hilly, but you kind of get to adventure through the park a little more. It's rather than it just being presented all open to you. So I would say it's more generally flat, but there's some dimension to the courses that seem to play with holes and make it not so golf course like.
Yeah.
But Centennial Park, the course closest to me, might as well be a golf course. It's just everything's wide open for you to see. You can see every basket on the course from walking up to hole 1.
Wow.
And that's just kind of my least favorite disc golf.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not super fan of the flat courses either. I feel like it. We used to joke in Washington there was this really flat course, Shelton Springs, and we used to joke that the only elevation was the stump. It was a really big stump. It was maybe like 4 feet of elevation or something.
Right, here it is.
Yeah, isn't it? If you don't land on it, you miss out. So, yeah.
There is a really nice course from here that's 35, maybe 40 minutes away. It's called Case Park. It was built by Avery Jenkins not too long ago, maybe in the last like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
It's got probably the prettiest turf tee pads I've ever seen.
Nice.
And I've not seen turf tee pads like this before. I mean, they're all nicely elevated, and I don't know what the standard size for a tee pad is, but they look like they're extra large.
Well, if you ever come to visit us, you should definitely go out to Athens. Jared Black has a couple courses out in Athens now that this guy is ridiculous. When he was building 6x12 raised tee pads with the blue tee pads have blue turf, red tee pads have red turf.
Wow.
It's super impressive.
Marine grade plywood.
Yeah.
Really?
the short hair turf
Yeah, he did it.
elevated.
So then he also put solar powered lights that change colors on the tee pad and the basket of every hole.
That's the dream.
Around constantly.
Yeah, you can
That's the
play
dream.
courses anytime. Yeah, it's pretty, and it's really neat. And of course, the changing colors is just really kind of beautiful.
Yeah, that's next tier, next level.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. I had to, boost him up a little bit because he definitely deserves it.
I'm not so sure about any hidden gems or anything out here otherwise. I mean, I'm not disappointed in the disc golf, that's for sure. And the community is great. There's probably at least 3 disc golf clubs just in this general Tulsa area.
Wow.
And I mean, for different things, like there's a church organization disc golf group. Then there's the women's disc golf group that doesn't correlate with the other league. Like this women's disc golf league has like 30 some women in it.
Wow.
Nice.
Maybe not all at the same time, but I've seen some large groups. They've had to break into 3 cards.
Oh, wow.
Of doubles. They generally do doubles when they do league. So
nice. That's really neat.
Yeah, that's something to look forward to for sure. I've went to league a couple of times, so I've met a lot of the women out here. It's just bad timing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. So when are they telling you might be able to go back to playing?
I'm hoping at least by April 22nd, at least, because there is a tour series going through like Tulsa area, Oklahoma. And if I get in, I think it's May like 21st or whatever that weekend is like the 3rd event out of 8. So it's like if I could get to the 3rd event, then I could get to the other 5 or something like that. And I would still be able to probably make points and have potential to win. So I think that I want to do that. I want to try to do that. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to play again in May.
Sounds like.
And by play again, I mean a tournament, because here directly, I'm going to already start putting in the backyard.
Yes.
I have a basket. I got a basket.
Nice. Yeah. Did we lose you? I think we might have lost her. Yeah. Well,
sounds like she's
here she comes back.
She is.
Disappeared. I don't know why.
Awesome.
And you're back.
Yeah, we lost you for a second.
All of a sudden, it just came up and said error, and then just let me log back in. So.
Oh, nice, perfect.
Well, that was quick. At least I was like, no.
All right. Well, how about let's take just a quick break, real quick, maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Sure. Let me maybe arrange the lighting so I don't go dark here, because as you can see, it's getting darker and darker.
Okay, so hold on 1 second. Let me.
The microphone.
Abby.
Miss Abby.
Hello.
All right, we're coming back. And hit number 3 for me, please, sir.
Got your hair all brushed up.
Yes, yes, yes.
Whoa,
All
Hey,
We
I'm
are
not used to fixing my hair, so
yeah.
I work from home.
nice.
Just you and the dogs.
Yeah.
Just me and the dogs. That is right. Yes, all day long. They're actually probably pretty upset I'm in here because 5 o'clock is playtime.
Oh,
That's pretty funny. Well, don't let me hold you up too long.
No, that's quite all right. That's quite all right. They're big babies. I've got a 95-pound pit bull and a 80-pound golden retriever,
Oh, wow. Very nice.
aka big hams.
What'd you say, big ham?
Yep, aka big hams. That's what they
Yeah.
are. Because all they do is, like, as soon as you walk over to them, they just roll over and become a puddle of mud on the floor.
Right. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah. So, do you take him disc golfing with you?
I took Winnie. Okay, so Winnie is probably 2 years old. He's the big pit bull, and he is, like I said, just a big love muffin. He loves people and he loves children a lot, and he's also much stronger than me. I will show you a picture of him because he is a monster. And so whenever he approaches people, people are generally afraid. just because how excited he is, because when he gets really excited, he just like kind of drools at the mouth. And just having this excited dog like pull really hard to try to get over to you in the park, it's just, a lot of people have found it unpleasant.
Yeah, I bet.
And aside from that, he also really likes water and will do whatever it takes to get into the water. I mean, whatever it takes.
I've met a bunch of those dogs before. It's pretty funny. It's almost
He's
like
great.
they either like water or they don't. But if they do, man, they want to be in it. No matter how cold, muddy, any of it. Just let me in it.
Oh yeah, he loves it. He'll do whatever it takes. Like I said, like there have been times where I've just had to let him go for my own safety because he is trying that hard, like digging into the ground to get there.
Does he chew on?
So no, we don't disc golf together, not any longer. And that was only the beginning. He is twice the size he was then.
Oh wow!
And not to mention, he likes to eat discs a lot.
Jim was just asking that if he chewed frisbees. Yep.
Yes. We that's why the disc golf basket isn't in the middle of the yard. It's in the flower bed. Is because if it's in the middle of the yard, Winnie will chew like on the bottom of the basket to get discs out.
Oh wow!
Like viciously, like like how do I get it out?
He's not going disc golfing with me.
No.
No, that's yes. He'll try to take them from you out of your hands.
Oh
Like,
man,
not safe.
doesn't sound safe.
My other dog doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. You can do whatever you want. But if Winnie wants the disc, then Oliver will just go up, take it, and then go put it in a hole somewhere.
Yeah, that's too funny.
So he would probably be a decent disc golfer, but he just doesn't do well on the leash, my other dog. He just lays down on the ground like,
yeah.
what do you expect me to do? Like, you want me to go somewhere? Like, I'm fine right here. He just doesn't understand it. Like, my other dog would step into the harness himself, like, let's go. And my other dog's just like, no, we're not going anywhere.
That's too funny.
So,
yeah.
Now, unfortunately, disc golf is not an option with them. It's a lace the shoes up and leave situation.
That's funny. Awesome. Well, I don't want to hold you up too long, Abby. And did you have any announcements you wanted to make at all about any tournaments you guys have coming up, or?
I don't think so. Nothing too much. I do want to play in the Oklahoma tour that they've got going here in the Tulsa area. Lots of courses I've already played, so it's like I'm already like used to them, so it feels like a good time for me to get good ratings in, because that is something I have not done well in the last few years.
Yeah.
I feel like I've played better and got worse ratings, and it's just very frustrating on my end of things.
Yeah.
I really do hope I'm going to be playing here before the summer starts, or at least attempting to play, maybe putting in the backyard or going into the field and throwing some drives to see how it feels, get my balance back, that sort of thing. That's all coming soon. So I know I'll play a tournament before the end of the year. That's at least
Sweet.
the small goal I can make.
Well, good. Well, definitely. If you ever want to come back on the podcast, you let us know. We'll talk about what you're doing or whatever you want to talk about.
I would love to just in general come back and visit. I need to play Sasquatch.
Please do.
Anytime you're in town.
Yeah.
Please.
It's worth the trip for sure.
I have no doubt about that. I need to make the trip. I haven't been back to West Virginia in a while, so it's definitely on the list.
All right. Well, hit us up when you get here.
Great to see you.
Yep.
Hey, it's great to see you guys. Even though I didn't see you, Jim,
I'm hiding.
I heard you.
Yeah, I'm hiding.
I know, right?
That's all right. That's all right. Well, yes, I'll definitely be talking to you guys again, and I'll keep you updated. And I'll be watching the Disc Golf Pro Tour if you ever want to gossip about that. Lots of things going on.
Awesome. All right. We'll talk to you soon, Abby.
Bye.
All right, guys. Be good.
All right. Bye. If she stayed on, I could.
That's perfect, man. Like that.